Hello everyone, it's Professor Sadiq Noor with a new video regarding analyzing data with PivotTable, how to analyze the data with a PivotTable. In this video, I'm gonna teach you, or the objective is how to plan and design a PivotTable report, how to create a PivotTable report, how to change the pivot summary function and design, how to filter the PivotTable data, how to explore the PivotTable data relationships, how to create a PivotChart report, how to update the PivotTable report, and then finally, I will teach you how to use the getPivotData function. So the first thing is we need to plan and design a PivotTable report. So the thing is, the PivotTable report feature in Excel let you summarize a large amount of worksheet data in a compact table format. Then you can freely rearrange or pivot the table, rows, and columns to explore the relationship within your data. The other thing is that before you create a pivot table, we need to follow these guidelines. One is that you have to review your source data. Next is that you need to determine the purpose of your pivot table that you want to create. You need to identify the fields you want to include in your pivot table. You need to determine which field contains the data you want to summarize and which summary function you want to use. Also, you need to decide how you want to arrange your data in a pivot table. And finally, you will have to determine the location of the pivot table. So I have an Excel file with the source data, and I will show you how to use the source data to create the pivot table to summarize the large worksheet using the pivot table report. So this is my Excel file, which I have already created earlier with some information in it. So the first thing we want to do here is that we have to click inside the table. Now this one, if you look at it, it's very hard to summarize all this data because if you look at it, I have different values in a different location. So if you see here, I have 240 position ID, and then I have all these Boston's offices, you see? And then if you scroll a little bit down, you will see more and more information, which is hard to examine those information. But with a pivot table, it's gonna be easy to summarize the data and easy to find the information you are looking at. So to do that, let's start. So move your cursor to your northeast worksheet. If you look down here, and then we're gonna go to insert, the insert tab, and then the first group is tables. Click on recommended. When you hit the recommended pivot tables, then you will get the dialog box with all these different kinds of recommended pivot tables. So we want to stick with the first one, and then we have to create the pivot table in a blank worksheet. So click on the blank. As you notice that in our worksheet tab, we have seen here now a new sheet has been added. And then that's the pivot table, which is an empty. We have to populate the field or the columns inside the pivot table. So far, we don't have anything in it. If you look in the right-hand side, we have what we call the PivotTable field. Whenever you click on this field, when you choose this field, then the table will be populated with the rows and columns, right? So to do that, the first thing is we have to click on we need office, so click on the office box. As you see, the moment I clicked office, the office's location has been added. Next, we need to add position. So we add the position. And then the next we need to add quarter. So the quarter should be in below the office. That will be the rows. Now we want the position ID not to be like what you have seen here, the sum. We want it to be as a column. So all the position ID should be displayed in columns. So we will drag it. So click and drag it to the column box. As you see now, we have 110, 243, 4402, 510, and so on. So the next thing we need is that we also need to choose the revenue field. We want to add that one too. So to do that, we will click on revenue. As you see now, it sums all the revenue. And we have the revenue with the grand total. So the next thing is you can also collapse Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. So let's say I don't want to read about Boston. I will hit the negative to the collapse button to collapse it. And I want to examine only Philadelphia. Now, if you want to expand to see the information in New York office and Boston office with the 4 quarters. Next, that's the way how we create a PivotTable report, and then we populated it with the columns and the rows. So the rows is the office and the quarters, whereas the positions are represented as a column, as you have mentioned here. You see, you said the column has to be the position IDs. Now the rows will be that you want Boston, the office to be in the top, and then the next row should have the quarters, as you see, it's been listed. Next, now the next thing is we have to change the PivotTable summary function and design. A PivotTable summary function determines what type of calculation Excel applies or use to summarize the data table. Unless you specify otherwise, Excel applies the sum function to the numeric data and count the function to the data field containing text. So in this case, if you see by default, it adds the sum to the revenue, right? So what we need to do is in A, column A, and 3, this one here, you will do right click on it, and then you will go to summarize value by, and then you have to choose average. As you see now here also it says average of the revenue. Next, once you have changed that, the next thing, we do not want to show the subtotals. We don't want to see the subtotal, these subtotals here. We don't want to see it. So to hide the subtotal in dark, what we need to do is as follows. You will go to the design, and then you will go to the first group under the contextual tab. We have two of them, PivotTable Analyze and Design. So you will go to you will click on Design, Layout, Subtotal, and then Do Not Show Subtotal. So pay attention to these ones here in dark, and then click on Do Not Show Subtotal. As you see, the subtotal is being hidden. Now, next, right click on A3 again, summarize value by sum. So we change it back to sum. And then we will go to the layout under the design tab. And then we will click on subtotals. And then we want show all subtotal at the top of the group. And you see they displayed in the top of the group. Next, we need to change the style of the pivot table. The pivot table style is under the design. Now click the black arrow for more. And then we want to change it to white pivot style light 3. As you move, the categories light, we have medium, dark. So we are looking for light, and we are looking for white pivot style light 3, as you see on the screen tip. So click on it, and the pivot table style change to white pivot style light 3. Next, we have to click on Pivot Table Analyze tab, and then we need to click on the Field Headers button. So the field header is this here. So what we want to do actually is that we want to deselect any field headers. So to deselect, you will have to go to the Analyze tab, and then you will have to click on the field header button. So click on it. As you see, it disappeared, it took it off. The unnecessary headers like the column labels and the row labels are removed in this case. Now we have to click on the revenue value, and then we have to click the field settings, and then we have to change them to $1. Now, if you look here, they are not in a dollar sign. So what you need to do is go to B5, and you can select any of the value for the revenue, and then you will have to do right click, and then you will go to the after the shortcut menu, click on number format. You will get the format set dialog box. Click on currency. We want to have 2 decimal places on the dollar sign, and then we have to click OK. As you notice now, in your pivot table, all the values has the dollar sign with it now, simultaneously. Now we have to change the sheet name from sheet 3 to a pivot table. So just move your cursor over the sheet 3 and double click it. As you see, it's been overridden. Now type pivot table. This is my pivot table, and press the enter key. Now we need to add a footer. We need to add a footer to our pivot table. We will go to insert. Then you will see the group, the second last group under insert is text. You will click on headers and footer. And then we need to go to footer under the navigation. group, click on go to footer, and then type your name. Once you have done, so click in the white area above, go back to the view, and then click on normal, and then scroll, and then save your work. File, save. Next, when you move your cursor inside the pivot table, then you're gonna see the pivot table field. If you are outside the field, the pivot table, you are not gonna see. It's gonna hide it. So if you wanna go back to the pivot table field, you have to move your cursor or pointer inside the table. Next, we have to filter the pivot table data. You can restrict the display of a pivot table data using the slicer and report filters. Now, we have something called slicer. So with the help of the slicer also, you can filter the data you want. So a slicer is a graphic object you can use to filter data in a pivot table to show only the data you need. For example, you can use the slicer button to show only data about a specific product. So let me show you how to use the slicer in a pivot table. So let's click on the pivot analyze tab, and then you will see the next thing we need is under the filter. You will click on insert slicer. Now once you click insert slicer from the group filter under the pivot table analyze tab, now here you have to choose which of the slicers you want to include. In this case, we want to include position ID and office, and click OK. So both of them has been added. Now click on the office, and if you look in your ribbon, we have size. So we want the height of the slicer for the office to change to 1.18 the height, and press the enter key. And then if you want, you can adjust by holding the dot. And then we need to drag it here. Now we have to click the position slicer, and then we have to change the height to 2.6. It's already 2.6 in my case. So I will drag it, and I will move it here. Once we moved it here, now the slicer is like a visualized way of filtering the data. While you are clicking any of the items or the option from the slicer, you will see the effect in your pivot table. So for example, I will click 110 position ID in the office Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. You see, I got only 110. I filtered 110 position ID for the offices Boston and quarter 1 to 4 for each of the cities, right? Now, what if you want to include 510? So hold the control and click 510. Now I have 110 and 510 position IDs. Also, you could hold the control key, and then you could also select the office you want to look at it. So I am looking at New York. So for example, I want New York, and hold the control key and click on Philadelphia. So as you see, I don't want to see Boston, but I want New York and Philadelphia for these two position IDs, 110 and 510. All right. Now, if you wanna, after you get the results, you wanna clear the filter. In the top, you will see an X that says clear filter. I will click here. So I will see now Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. And then if you wanna clear the position IDs, I will click on this. So I can see all the information now for the different position IDs that we have in the pivot table. Now, how to remove the slicer. So click on the office until you see the white dots. Hold the control key and select the position. Then do a right click on any of the selected slicer. You should see remove slicer. So click on it. So that's how to remove the slicer from your pivot table worksheet. Next, now we need the quarter. So click on inside so we kind see the pivot table field. So what we want to do next is that we need the quarter field arrow to be, which is in the row now. We have to move it to the filter location. So click the quarter and drag it to the filter. The moment that you did that, you will notice now you have added the quarter separately in a top so you kind filter your data. So here the filter is, I'm filtering the data by quarter. All right. Now, if you want to filter to a specific quarter, so I will go to B1, then I will click the drop down. I will choose quarter 4, and click OK. Now I can see only quarter 4 with the grand total for 110, 240, 340, 402, 420, 510, 640, 780. Now, if you change your mind, you said, I want to find out the quarter 3 or 2, so I will select 2, and okay. It changed it to 2 now, right? So I will go back and I will select 4, click OK. So that's how to filter the pivot table data with the help of the slicer. Or if you don't want to use the slicer, then just you have to move one of the field to the filter section in the right-hand side box. And then that means you want to filter the pivot table data with that specific field. In this case, we have selected the quarter. Next is to explore the pivot table data relationship. What makes a pivot table such a powerful analysis tool is the ability to change the way the data is organized in the report. By moving the field to different position in the report, you can explore the relationship and the trend that you might not see in the original report structure. So to do that, what we want to do here is that we will choose the division, and then we will move the division. We will drop it above the office. So you can move the division above the office. As you see, we moved the division, and then the office now is the second row. Now we can also drag the division anywhere in a column. So if you want, you can drag it to the column area. So the next thing we want is that we need the division. You can also do like this. You can move the division to the column, as you see. Now the next thing we want to do here is that we need the division to be under the filter area. So drag it. So the moment that you dragged the division field under the filter area, which is above the quarter field, now if you look in the top, you have two fields that you want to filter the data with, and then you see here you added the two field that you want to filter. So that's your filter now. You want to filter by division, by quarter, and that's why you just dragged it, the quarter and the division. Now in B1, what if you want the division from creative, financing, and account, office support, or technical? In this case, we want creative. We want to check. We want to filter creative. So click OK. So now these are the creative. And now in the B2, we want all, not only quarter four, we want all the 4 quarters. So all, and now I can see all quarters and only the division creative. Now we have to go to File, Save. You'll go to File, Print, and we have to change the orientation to landscape. All right, we will hit the white arrow to go back. So that was how to explore the PivotTable data relationship. Next is to create a PivotChart report. A PivotChart report is a chart that you create from a data or from a PivotTable report that lets you summarize and rearrange to explore the new data relationship. So let's create the PivotChart report. So in this case, in B1, we have creative, and in the quarter, we have to click on 4. We want to export quarter 4 and creative division. Once we have done that, so the 4th quarter creative revenue information appears in the PivotTable. We want to create the PivotChart from the PivotTable information that is being displayed. Now we have to click any cell inside the PivotTable and then go to the Analyze and then click the second last option is Tools. Click on PivotChart. Then we want the cluster column. Click OK. The chart has been added. So the pivot chart appears on the worksheet as shown. So the next thing we need is we have to go to the analyze again. We have to add slicer, and then we have to choose what we want in the slicer is the office, and click OK. And let's move the office to the right of the chart. Now we don't want New York. If you want New York, you will click on. So we need Boston. So now this is the Boston. We filter by Boston. You can filter by Philadelphia, as you see Philadelphia. So we need Boston. Click on Boston. The chart changed to Boston. Also, the good thing is that this one also changed to Boston. My pivot table. This is the pivot table. This is your pivot chart. And then this one here is your slicer used to filter the data in your pivot table and also the chart. Next, now in the chart, click the chart, and then we have to go to design, and then we have to move the chart in its own worksheet. So click move chart. After you click the design tab, click on move chart. Now we have to click on new sheet, and at the same time we have to name it as pivot chart, and then click OK. Now this chart will be in its own worksheet, as you have seen. The pivot chart, then I have the pivot table. Now we have to click the quarter field button, and we have to click all. So click here and all, and click. That's all. So all the quarter, not only the fourth quarter, now all quarter. So here it says all, you see. Now let's go to pivot chart again. Now the chart now represents the Boston office creative revenue for the years, for the 4 years, 1 to 4 years. Now let's click on design. Now we have to change the quick layout. So if you look here under the chart layout, after you clicked it, the design, so click on quick layout, and as you move on the different layout, you will see layout 1 with the screen tip, layout 2, layout 3, we have 4, 5. According your chart is changing the style, the layout. So in this case, we are looking for layout 3. So click on layout 3. Now you have to enter the chart title, highlight, and the chart title is going to be annual, creative revenue. You can press the enter key and you can click anything, anywhere in your chart. Now, let's go back to the analyze, pivot chart, analyze, and then let's click on the field button. We don't want the field buttons, this field button here. We don't want these field buttons. So you will obviously click on field button under the pivot analyze tab. So I will click on field button. As you see, it took off the field button from my chart. Now we have to give it the pivot chart, the footer. So let's go to insert. Then you will see the text group. Click on headers or footer. Click on customize footer in the middle, in the center section. We have to enter our name. So Sadiq Nur. And then we have to click OK. And then OK. We have to save from the quick access toolbar, we have to click the floppy to save the work. Now the next is to update the PivotTable report. What that means is that the data in a PivotTable report looks like a typical worksheet data. However, because the PivotTable is linked to the data source, so the result is displayed are read-only. The results it displays are read-only. That means you cannot move or modify part of the PivotTable by inserting or deleting row, editing result, or moving the cells, right? So always, if you delete, if you edit it, you have to refresh the PivotTable to reflect the changes. So let's go to the pivot chart. And as you see, 510 is the red, and the value is 7,446 and 04. That's the total value. Now click on the northeast sheet. And then let's go to E27. Let me zoom. That's the column E. And we are looking for row number 27. E27. We have to change it from 877 to 6,000. Push the enter key, press the enter key. Now, column, let's go to the PivotTable sheet now. And if you look under the column C6, it says 7,446.04. The PivotTable does not yet reflect the changed data that you made in the northeast in here. Although here I changed it, but it does not change it in our PivotTable worksheet. Now to do that is very important to go to the analyze, and then you will see the data tab, the data group, and then click on refresh, the refresh button under the data group. Now you see the changes. So what I mean is that any changes you do in your source data, automatically the changes will not occur in your pivot table until you have to click the refresh button under the pivot table analyze. All right. Now, if you look at the 510 column has updated to 12,568 and 63. So save your workbook. Next is to use the get pivot data function, because you can rearrange the pivot table so easily. You cannot use an ordinary cell reference when you want to reference a pivot table cell in other worksheet. The reason is that if you change the way data is displayed in a pivot table, the data makes an ordinary cell reference incorrect. So what we want to do now, so instead to retrieve summary data from a pivot, you need to use the Excel get pivot data function. So to do that, while our pivot table worksheet is open, what we want to do is that we will go to the we will click the division filter, and we have to click all. Right? So that's for the Boston positions. That's what we selected under the office Boston. Now let's activate the Northeast sheet. Let's go to G1. I will zoom it. And then we're gonna type total Boston revenue. Press the enter key. Now go back and let's align it in the middle. Let's go to the alignment center. And then we need to boldface. Now we have to go to the middle of the G column and double click it to stretch it. Now in G2, you will start with equal, you will tap equal. Then you will have to change equal what? The pivot table sheet, and then click on J6. And then press the enter key. As you see, we get 95,857. So bold, give the $sign, boldface. So if you look here, the function we have used is get pivot data from the pivot table sheet. So this ends my lecture about analyzing the data using the pivot table. I hope you learn about how to use pivot table in Access. Thank you. Have a nice day.